How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be featuring another match in the Ohio. This one was, well, I don't know if it's infuriating, but one of those experiences that are like, God, why did we have to go through that? Why did we witness what we witnessed? But at the same time, that didn't stop us from doing well. Uh, but in this one, yeah, you're gonna see quite a bit of tragedies. The amount of HE shells that came at us. I mean, we are using Hoshino in this match, which I've sort of went to using instead of Optimus Prime. But then there's certain times where I still wish I did have Optimus Prime because of just how tanky you can be and resistant to fires. And in this match, two conks, Zhao, just a lot of fire spam that we have to deal with when, well, some of our teammates decide to hide, or what you'll see on the minimap from the other flank, run to the corner for most of the match while we're just kicking and scratching to not be burnt to a crisp, even though we are. Couple salvos on that conch, pretty good. I guess being further away, we're sort of getting a little more decent plunging fire that I guess stays within the superstructure. A lot of the times when we do shoot battleships when we're closer, you still get those overpens because, I mean, it is 19 millimeters, and caliber divided by 6 is the amount of armor a shell will need to pass through in order to arm. So sometimes quite unfortunate. Enemy Zhao, we take a pot shot over the island. Don't get any citadels. Unfortunately, dispersion didn't really want to work with us there. There's some situations where I think I should be using the spotter plane. I mean, especially on something like Ohio. I mean, 10% from a base of 2.0. Using flammable cannoneer, putting it to 2.1. Spotter plane 10% puts that at a 2.31, which is a pretty high sigma value. Although we do know how spotter plane sometimes doesn't feel like it works and just makes everything worse. Enemy team sort of running, staying in spawn. Not a whole lot is actually spotted. Seeing that our team or friendly battleship and cruiser that spawned with us seems like they're going to push through C, maybe go to the objective, I decide to possibly put myself in between B and C in order to sort of create different angles to fight the enemy that's on this flank. Cruiser's pushing in, although Dyson has decided to stop, and that's pretty much where he's going to remain for most of the match until he finally decides to push in. And yeah, that'll be interesting when we get to that point. Enemy Colombo finally gets spotted south of B. There's a lot of battleships that's currently in their spawn and unspotted, and well, there is a destroyer in B cap. And one of the unfortunate things about our Michelangelo being positioned where he is, which is on the left side of the island rather than on our, I guess I want to say spawn side of the island, being able to spot on both sides, is the fact that the enemy Shimakaze on the enemy team has actually gone to the other side of the island opposite of where our Michelangelo is, and is pretty much just keeping us spotted for the entire enemy team. And now you can see the other flank, 4 battleships running to the top left corner. That is pretty much what I was referring to at the start. Just seeing these questionable situations, friendly battleships going to the corner. I mean, they had the objective, our destroyer was there, but they're just running away from them, not really trying to support or create any situation where they're putting pressure on the enemy team. So now that the enemies are pushing into A, we are kind of getting caught in a crossfire. I mean, there's not really a situation where we can turn out at this point because Shima's keeping us spotted for a billion battleships in their spawn. I decided to slow down and turn in because I was assuming Shima Torps were coming for us, which they were. And, well, fortunately, we dodged one set. We get set on a triple fire, but we can't DCP because that's only 1 out of 3 sets from the Shima. And now we're just basically getting dumpstered by a bunch of HE, 2 conks, and a Zhao shooting HE from absolutely everywhere. They're unspotted. We have no spots because our destroyer has to run away from A flank because our 4 ships are in the top left corner behind the furthest island on this map. And yeah, there's really nothing that we can do. We're just being farmed for all of our HP. Dyson is, well, finally deciding to push in. Nope, never mind, he's actually still sitting there. I lied. Cruiser's still alive though. He's the one that had sort of reached C cap. Dyson is just conserving his HP behind the island, not even making himself a target, which is unfortunate for us because we're really the only thing that is spotted. And we're, well, set on another double fire, which absolutely sucks. At least we got behind the island and are unspotted from the destroyer. We're also about to get our heal back, so we should survive this double fire as I decide to finally ping the intelligence that are in the top left corner of the map. Enemy team has also not really captured A, which is kind of surprising considering how far our team has left A. I mean, all they had to do was go into the cap and, well, our team would never return. And considering how poorly we're doing on this flank because of what's happening on the other flank, well, there's not really a whole lot of hope that we have. All the enemy team really needs to do at this point is push in to C. They should know at this point that the enemy, that our destroyer is at A, and they're pretty much free to do whatever. Shima ends up torping the Michelangelo. I'm kind of assuming that he's now chasing the battleships in our spawn. I feel like that's probably where he would want to be. And then we get spotted and stay spotted, so now we know he actually didn't, and he's sticking around B, because otherwise he would have been behind those islands going to A. And there's the Shima. He basically just got back to the cap and is shooting us again. We're staying spotted, and here comes more HE from the Zhao and the Kongs. I'm just trying to survive at this point because the most useless thing in a match is a dead ship. So you do kind of need to stay alive. I mean, our friendlies are still alive. Dyson's still behind the island. Hasn't moved. I think he's just scared to be shot at by HE because he's seen, well, he's been sitting there the whole time. I think before we got HE spammed so badly. His team is telling me to get back, but at the same time, there is no getting back because there's a Shima behind me. And no way that I can actually disengage. So sitting at this island is my only hope. All I can do at this point is try to stay unspotted and hope the enemy team pushes in one by one where we can smash them, although Conks can't be citadeled. And Colombo, very rarely can you be citadeled. Enemy Napoli gets into A finally. He is kind of broadside to us, so I do decide to reverse and take a pot shot at him. Shima is much closer, and he definitely just spotted our Minotaur. Not our Minotaur, our Worcester. But unfortunately, our Worcester was trying to help us, but sailing broadside to all the battleships. And, yeah, he basically gets nuked and killed so quickly. Super unfortunate. Dyson also finally started moving from our spawn, from sitting behind the island. But he pushed in flat broadside. And, well, he basically got nuked for all of his HP. Now we're playing mind games with the Shimakaze. We know he was right on the other side of this island, but we need to guess correctly which side he decides to try to YOLO me. He's either going to turn in and YOLO me from where I'm reversing to, or he's going to be in front of me and try to YOLO from the front, which would give me sort of a chance, because if he came from the side, well, I don't actually have prop mod because I don't have fight fire with fire. We kind of need some way to survive Ichi a little more, so we decided to use the damage control mod in the second slot, which doesn't allow us to reverse at like 20 knots, which prop mod does because it's bugged. And one of my biggest gripes, the speed that I'm reversing right now is how fast you actually should be reversing with prop mod, but it's been bugged for 6 years and they still haven't figured out how to fix it. Shima turning broadside right in front of me instead of trying to turn out to torpedo. Interesting choice, because that allowed our secondaries to actually hit him. The last thing you want to do is be charging straight at a battleship and then turn to eat not torpedoes, to eat secondaries, especially because they don't actually lead very well. And well, he did just that. He gave me an opportunity to have my secondaries and also my main gun load quick enough, and he, well, basically ends up dying without launching any torpedoes. Our friendly Dyson that had conserved all his HP has died at sea much faster than I did, getting shot at by two conks, Zhao, and basically everything you could think of in their spawn. Enemy Michelangelo pushing in to try and capture C. This is kind of what we want. We want the enemy to push in one by one so that we can deal with them with the remaining HP that we have. We've gone through 6 heals, which is sort of impressive, and we're still alive. So part of the reason why I like Hoshino, there's a lot of heals, but at the same time, if you're in a situation like this, which is super unfortunate, you go through those 6 heals super quickly just because you have to well, survive against a bunch of HE spam. Enemy Zhao kiting from the other flank now, and broadside. We finally land citadels on him, which we did early on, then we wouldn't have had nearly as much HE spam at us, and probably would have conserved a little more HP. But Zhao finally goes down. Now there's just a couple of conks that we have to worry about. Michelangelo smoke finally runs out, but unfortunately he does get the cap. He is still sailing broadside, interestingly, and we do land a double citadel, which does take most of his HP. Our turrets, because of the skill that gives us turret traverse and reload as we lose HP, turn pretty quickly from the right side, and we do get to put them on the Michelangelo. Unfortunately, though, we didn't get any citadels with those. I don't know what happened. I think after that first salvo landing a double citadel, we basically used up all of our RNG, because I don't think we actually land a citadel on the Michelangelo again, which is super tragic, because he is just pretty much just flat broadside and not really reacting whatsoever. Enemy team finally decides to start shooting HE at me again, and they get an unfortunate fire. But we also do finish off the Michael. Actually, we did get a citadel. We got a pitadel, and well, yeah, unfortunate fire. Now we have 30 seconds before we can DCP it. We don't have a whole lot of HP. We don't have heals. This is going to be very close before we die to fires. I'm kind of hoping that our Shima doesn't throw a ship away, but also I think we need to max out Hoshino, because with our fully packed, the Shima would have actually been in range to get us the... I think they nerfed it from 40 to 30%, like the 30% reload of our consumables, so we would have gotten it back quicker, and kind of just unfortunate because he was barely outside of it. I think we're at 2.75 for our legendary skill activation, but he was at 3. He was just outside, could have helped us, but it's okay. Shima does end up going down. Kind of unfortunate, he was in his smoke. All he really needed to do was take his time to turn around, and he would have been fine. But he YOLO'd out and didn't really kill the Columbo that ended up killing him. Kind of unfortunate. We have 2700 HP. Our whole team, GK and FDG, that's in a division. I mean, they finally, sort of got through a... They went all the way around the objective though, instead of going straight through, so they took a very long time to get where they were. And yeah, we're kind of relying on them to push in and hopefully get things spotted while I try to hide on this island to stay alive with what little HP I have left. We do have a friendly Yoshino behind me though, so I'm kind of also hoping he is close enough that he can spot some things for me, just so I can react accordingly and try to stay alive. Because I don't have the highest hopes for those 2 battleships that took forever to get anywhere. Because, well, if they took that long, I'm not sure if they really know what they're doing. I get spotted, very short duration, very briefly by the conch, but that's more than enough time for him to get a salvo. We have our DCP. He hits our turrets and only 1 shell did any damage. We're alive with 260 HP. We damaged Khan the fire that he set, and now we're just trying to survive. Yoshino is currently spotting the Columbo, and I guess he shot and is getting shot at by the Columbo. So this gives us an opportunity to fire our rear turrets. Island in the way, so his secondaries aren't shooting. We get some damage, but we don't really do enough to finish him off, and we somehow survive with 260 HP. being absolutely farmed by their entire team while our team ran to the corner and pretty much took the whole match to get to the objective. Kind of a stressful one, kind of a annoying one, but we still did pretty well, 3400 XP, regardless of our team being oh so very questionable. 221,000 damage, pretty good for considering we were hiding behind that island for most of the match. I think we just really needed our team to be somewhere, create crossfires with us, and I mean, you saw what happened to the Zhao once there were more things for him to worry about than just one battleship that is staying spotted by a Shima that he could farm from over an island. But Hoshino, pretty good commander. Don't quite get the secondary range or accuracy, but at the same time, we aren't necessarily outranged by cruisers as often, as we're kind of stuck at 17.5 kilometers of range using the battle boosters with Optimus Prime, which more often than not sucks. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more, and share it with your friends, or leave a comment down below on other ships you want to see in the future. But anyway, till next time, aloha.